Ever wonder how a TEDx event actually gets paid for? How all the magic happens behind the scenes? Well, you're in the right place. We are about to break down that entire financial journey from the very first line item on a budget to that final, crucial thank you note.
So let's just dive right in with the fundamental question, the big challenge that every single organizer faces. How in the world do you fund an idea that you're literally not allowed to profit from? It's a really fascinating puzzle, and it's right at the heart of the whole TEDx financial model.
And the answer is, well, it's zero. A big fat zero. The maximum allowed profit from any TEDx event is nothing. This isn't a business, it's a mission. And believe me, that one single rule changes everything about how you go about finding the money to make it all happen.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to start with that nonprofit challenge. Then we'll blueprint a budget, talk about sponsorships as true partnerships, nail the all-important compliant pitch, and finally, we'll look at how to build lasting support for events way into the future.
Okay, first up, let's really unpack this nonprofit challenge. It all comes down to a core philosophy that comes with some very, very specific ground rules.
So TED's financial rules are super strict, but they're strict for a really good reason, to keep the focus purely on the ideas. Every single penny has to go directly into event costs. If you happen to have any money left over, it just gets rolled into the next event. And this is crucial. Organizers and speakers cannot be paid. You can't even use crowdfunding. The goal is never profit, it's always to break even, all for the sake of the mission.
So with those rules burned into your brain, your very first practical step is to blueprint your budget. Let's talk about how to build a realistic financial plan. Now, I know building a budget can sound a little overwhelming, but it's not so bad if you follow these 4 steps. First, list out every possible thing you might have to spend money on. Second, identify where money could come from. Third, and this is a real pro tip, add a 50% cost buffer. Why? Because unexpected costs are pretty much a guarantee. And finally, prioritize your must-haves so you know exactly where your money absolutely has to go no matter what.
And here's a great example of what that budget can look like in practice. You can see the usual suspects, right? Venue, AV equipment, those are often the biggest ticket items. But look at the income sources. Notice how it's a mix of cash sponsorships, ticket sales, and in-kind donations. That's so important. It's not just about raising cash.
Okay, once your budget tells you what you need, it's time to go out and find that support. And the key here is to reframe your thinking. You're not just asking for money. You're building partnerships. You're moving way beyond simple transactions to find true collaborators.
I absolutely love this quote because it just perfectly captures the whole spirit of TEDx fundraising. You're not just asking for a check. You're inviting organizations to join you on your mission. You want to look for partners who are already trying to make your community a better place. Those are the folks who will really get the value of spreading great ideas.
Right, so sponsorships basically come in 2 essential flavors. You've got your cash sponsorships, which are great because they give you the flexibility to cover big costs like the venue. But just as valuable, sometimes even more so, are in-kind sponsorships. Donations of goods or services. Getting your catering or printing donated can slash the amount of actual cash you need to raise. A healthy mix of both? That's the secret sauce.
But here's the thing. To build these amazing partnerships, you have to know exactly what you can offer while staying inside TED's strict rules. And that means you have to master the compliant pitch. This part is critical.
Now, while the rules are strict, you can still offer some really valuable benefits. The goal is always to provide visibility without being overly commercial. You can put their logo on your website, in the program, and on a quick group slide during breaks. A simple verbal thank you from the stage, that's super powerful. And an exhibit table lets sponsors actually connect with the awesome community you've brought together.
Okay, now let's talk about the absolute deal breakers, the big no-nos. First and foremost, a sponsor cannot buy their way onto the stage. No speeches, no presentations, 0 exceptions. That stage is exclusively for the ideas being shared, period.
And that idea extends to the stage design itself. Think of the stage backdrop as a kind of sacred space. Sponsor logos are just not allowed there, or anywhere else in the camera's main shot. This is all about preserving the non-commercial feel and integrity of the talks.
And this might be the most important rule of all. Sponsors can have 0, and I mean 0, influence over the content. That means they get no say in who you pick as speakers and no input on what those speakers say. The curation process has to be completely independent. It's all about protecting the event's credibility.
And finally, TEDx rules are crystal clear that some industries are completely off limits for sponsorship. This includes companies involved in tobacco, weapons, gambling, or adult products. This just reinforces how important it is to partner only with organizations that truly align with the TEDx mission.
So you've secured your partners, you've run an amazing event, but the work isn't over. Not by a long shot. The final and maybe most important step is building lasting support. It's about turning this year's sponsors into next year's champions.
This timeline right here, this is your playbook for building sustainable relationships. The follow-up starts the very next day with a personalized thank you. A week later, you share cool photos and some numbers. A month after that, you report on the bigger impact, like press coverage. And you just keep that relationship warm by sharing video view counts as they grow. This shows real value and builds incredible trust for your next event.
And that really brings us to our final thought. You see, the whole process we've just walked through isn't just about finding money. It's about building a coalition, a team of supporters who truly believe in the power of ideas. So the question I want to leave you with is this: who in your community is going to help you share the next big idea?